Very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Let us start the bulletin with the headlines. Ramnath Kovind to be sworn in as the 14th President of India, Chief Justice of India to administer oath at a ceremony in Central Hall of Parliament. Soul of India lies in its pluralism and tolerance, says Pranab Mukherjee in his farewell address as President appeals to free public discourse from violence. Six Congress MPs are suspended from Lok Sabha for 5 days for highly unbecoming conduct in the House. United opposition to protest against the suspension today. Seven people, including son-in-law of Kashmir separatist leader Syed Ali Shah Gilani, arrested by NIA over probe into terror funding to be conducted in Delhi court. And Jared Kushner defends his conduct after Senate testimony in the US presidential campaign, denies any collusion with Russia to influence the poll results. Our top story this morning, Ramnath Kovind will be sworn in as the 14th President of India today. He will be sworn in by the Chief Justice of India, J.S. Kehar, at a ceremony to be held in the Central Hall of Parliament. Now, the ceremony will be attended by the Vice President, who is also the Chairman of Rajya Sabha, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, members of a Council of Ministers, Governors, Chief Ministers, heads of diplomatic missions, members of Parliament, and principal civilian and military officers of the Government of India. Now, Chief Ministers of West Bengal, Bihar, Telangana and Jharkhand will also be attending the ceremony. Ramnath Kovind had defeated Meera Kumar in the presidential polls that were held on the 17th of July to become the next President of India. And in his final address to the nation as a president, Pranab Mukherjee on Monday said that India's soul resides in pluralism and tolerance, and the nation derives strength from tolerance. Now, expressing concern over the increasing violence in the society, Pranab Mukherjee said that public discourse should be free from all forms of violence, physical as well as verbal. Now, thanking the citizens for their trust and confidence in him, he underscored the importance of creating an inclusive society, saying that financial inclusion is at the core of an equitable society. Pranab Mukherjee demitted offices on Monday after completing 5 years as the constitutional head of the state. He had taken office on 25th of July, 2012.
We must free our public discourse from all forms of violence, physical as well as verbal. Only a non-violent society can ensure the participation of all sections of the people, especially the marginalized and the dispossessed, in the democratic process. Power of non-violence has to be resurrected to build a compassionate and caring society. As I had said on assuming the office of the President, education is the alchemy that can take India to its next golden age. A reordering of society is possible through the transformative power of education. For that, we have to upgrade our higher institutions of learning to world-class levels. Our education system must accept disruption as a norm and prepare our students to manage and build upon the disruptions.
On to news from Parliament, and Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurian on Monday indicated that a distortion and a reporting of expunged remarks by certain media houses may be referred to the Privileges Committee. The chair had last week stated that media should not report anything that has been expunged from the records.
Raising the issue during 0-hour, nominated member KTS Tulsi said that members from 12 parties gave a notice under Rule 188 for breach of privilege by certain media houses for distorting remarks by SPMP Naresh Agarwal.
We don't mind criticism, But when they were presenting this program, there was a banner on the screen of the television, "Not a shred of shame." Now, this is with regard to every MP. It's sought to be defamed in this manner. We don't mind criticism, we welcome it. But this is not the manner in which a dialogue takes place, and they are defaming. This is per se defamatory, not a shred of shame. So I submit that more than 50 MPs are here, my lord, and this matter should be referred to the Privileges Committee. I move this.
Deputy Chairman P.J. Kurin said that distortion of remarks by any member amounts to breach of privilege of the Member of Parliament.
The other day also, I said in the House that media should not report anything that has been expunged in the House. I said that. But yet it was reported, it was said that there is reporting and misreporting. And also, when members make some speech, if it is distorted, that amounts to the breach of privilege, and your notice, especially when it is signed by more than 50 people, and if it refers to distortion of what is said in the House, will be referred to Privilege Committee.
The Samajwadi leader had made these remarks during a short-duration discussion on the reported increase in incidents of lynching and atrocities against minorities and Dalits on July 20th. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
More news from Rajya Sabha. And members of the Trinamool Congress and the AIADMK claimed anomalies in the medical entrance test NEET, and that had adversely affected thousands of students in West Bengal and Tamil Nadu. The government assured the House on Monday that it will look into the matter.
Raising the issue during 0 hour, Derek O'Brien of the TMC alleged that different question papers were being given to students attempting the common medical entrance examination in regional languages in West Bengal and Tamil Nadu. He also pointed out towards a report that claims NCERT wants to remove references to Rabindranath Tagore from school books.
So this time in Bengal example and Tamil Nadu, out of 56,000 people who did that exam, 40,000 wrote it in Bengali. They got a separate paper and the results have been disastrous. Those boys and girls in our two states of Tamil Nadu and Bengal have been deprived.
AIADMK members, on the other hand, demanded complete exemption for Tamil Nadu students from NEET and walked into the well of the House.
To frame the uniform NEET syllabus, prescribe textbooks and make it very popular and make it published in all newspapers.
These are requests to the government.
Sufficient time to the students.
Yes.
Then only you can conduct NEET.
Health Minister JP Nadda assured the House that the government will look into the anomalies.
The honourable MPs from Tamil Nadu had come and met me. We are looking into the matter.
Raised by West Bengal also.
No, they had not come, but yes, the issue is the same. The issue is the same.
Yeah.
We are looking into the matter.
The National Eligibility Cum Entrance Test is an entrance examination for students who wish to study any graduate medical course or postgraduate course in government or in private medical colleges. NEET replaced the All India Pre-Medical Test and all individual MBBS exams conducted by states or colleges in 2013. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
News from Lower House. And Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan suspended 6 Congress members from the House on Monday. These members were protesting against incidents of mob lynching and had demanded adjournment of the question hour. Now, following the rejection of their notice, protesting members trooped into the well and threw official papers at the chair. More in this report.
Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan suspended 6 Congress members from the House for 5 days on Monday. This followed improper behavior by opposition members who walked into the well and flung official papers towards the chair. The suspended members include Gaurav Gogoi, K. Suresh, Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, Ranjit Ranjan, Sushmita Dev and M.K. Raghavan.
This conduct of members is highly unbecoming and an abuse of the rules of the House, which seeks to undermine the dignity of the House. These members, by persistently and willfully obstructing the business of the House, have caused grave disorder. All the members whom I have named stand automatically suspended from the service of the House for 5 consecutive sittings in terms of provision of Rule 374A.
Prior to the suspension order, the House faced repeated adjournments due to uproar by opposition members. Protesting members raised anti-government slogans and protested against the speaker for disallowing their adjournment notice over incidents of mob lynching.
एडजस्टमेंट मोशन हमने जो मूव किया है वो रूल 56 और 57 के तहत किया है।
ये क्या है?
रूल्स के मुताबिक ही हमने आपके सामने ये पेश किया है, लेकिन मुझे बड़ा आश्चर्य हुआ कौन से रूल में आप बात कर रहे हैं।
बीजेपी का सरकार हुकूमत में आए हैं, सारा देश में ये गोरक्षक तांडव कर रहे हैं। मैडम प्रधानमंत्री बोलते हैं लेकिन कोई सुनता नहीं है। इसके मतलब प्रधानमंत्री के साथ उन लोग का साथ है। वो बोलता हम बोलेंगे तुम करते रहो। सारा देश में सन्नाटा छाया।
Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar also condemned the improper conduct of the opposition members.
कांग्रेस पार्टी के नेता इतने हद तक गिर जाते हैं, यानी चेयर के ऊपर पेपर फेंकते हैं। ये हमने इसका पूरा निंदा करते हैं। जो मेंबर ऐसे किया है उसके बारे में कार्रवाई होना चाहिए।
Amid the continuing din, Deputy Speaker M. Thambidurai adjourned the House for the day. With Ravindra Sharan, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And earlier, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley introduced the Banking Regulation Amendment Bill 2017 in the Lok Sabha. The bill seeks to amend the Banking Regulation Act of 1949 and it replaces the Banking Regulation Amendment Ordinance of 2017 that was promulgated in May this year.
I rise to lay on the table an explanatory statement in Hindi and English version showing the reasons for immediate legislation by promulgation of the Banking Regulation.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley introducing the Banking Regulation Amendment Bill 2017 in Lok Sabha on Monday. The legislation will authorize the Reserve Bank of India to direct banking companies to initiate proceedings to tackle stressed assets. It will also allow the RBI to initiate insolvency resolution measures for specific stressed assets. Opposing the bill, Trinamool Congress MP Saugata Roy asked for it to be referred to the Parliamentary Standing Committee.
I oppose the introduction of the Banking Regulation Amendment Ordinance 2017. This is a desperate step by a desperate government. When the banks have reached a stressed asset of 9.64 lakh crores, and now RBI is being given power to refer matters relating to stressed assets to Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board.
If passed, the bill will also empower the RBI to issue other directions to appoint or approve for appointment authorities or committees to advise banking companies to tackle the problem of stressed assets. With Pranav Goswami, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break here. We'll be back with more news. Stay with us.
फरवरी 1940 में ब्रिटिश इंडियन आर्मी की बलोच रेजिमेंट की 5वीं पलटन ज्वाइन की। हिंदुस्तानी सिपाहियों ने जापानीज का बहुत बहादुरी से मुकाबला किया और उन्हें जापानीज के हवाले कर दिया गया। हिंदुस्तान और अंग्रेजों के बीच एक धागा था, वो टूट गया। गद्दारी की कोई माफी नहीं होगी।
You were charged with Indian Army Act Section 41, waging war against the king.
जब अंग्रेजी अफसरों ने साडी हिफाजत नहीं की, तो वो हमारी वफादारी के हकदार किस तरह हो सकते हैं? अगर जिंदा बचा उसकी शादी करोगी मुझसे?
Thanks for staying with us. Now, Iraq has assured India that it will find the status of 39 Indians missing for years in the conflict zones of the war-ravaged country. The message was conveyed by the visiting Iraqi Foreign Minister Ibrahim al-Jafri to the External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj on Monday.
On a 5-day visit to India, Iraqi Foreign Minister Ibrahim al-Jafari met External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj on Monday. Both sides discussed major issues of trade and reconstruction efforts. The ministers also discussed issues relating to the situation in Iraq and the 39 missing Indians in Mosul. Jafari assured Swaraj that he will make all efforts to find their whereabouts.
We have no substantial evidence that they were killed or they're still alive, so we cannot give anything in that regard. We are doing efforts, and we will gratify concerted efforts in that regard.
On earlier occasions as well, Iraq has been helpful to India in tracking down nurses who were rescued alive. And despite the constant strain of conflict with the ISIS, India and Iraq have maintained robust trade relations that is valued at $18 billion. India imports oil while exporting essential food and other items. Iraqi Foreign Minister also met Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. He also paid a courtesy visit to Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari and discussed present situation prevailing in Iraq. With Akhilesh Suman, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some other news, International Monetary Fund retained India's GDP forecast at 7.2% for the current fiscal and said that India will grow faster than China in 2017 and 2018. Now, according to IMF's World Economic Outlook update, now India's growth is projected to accelerate to 7.7% in 2018-19 from 7.2% forecast for 2017-18. Now, for China, the forecast has been marginally raised to 6.7% in 2017 and 6.4% in 2018. And the WEO update also said that inflation in advanced economies remains subdued and has been declining in several emerging economies such as India, Brazil and Russia as well. The IMF also said that with a pickup in global trade and strengthening of domestic demand, growth in the ASEAN economies is projected to remain robust at around 5%. And let's get you an update on the flood situation across various states. And the flood waters have swept several states across the country. And it has killed 2 people in Rajasthan and has forced Gujarat to declare a high alert. Let's get you all the details. Flood waters swept several places on Monday, killing 2 in Rajasthan and forcing Gujarat to declare a high alert. Military was called out to help in relief and rescue operations after flood left thousands of people stranded. In Rajasthan, Army and Air Force contingents have been rushed in to assist in relief and rescue operations. 4 Mi-17 V5 helicopters were conducting sorties from bases in Jamnagar, Jodhpur and Phalodi. The flooding has affected Banaskantha, Patan districts in Gujarat, prompting authorities to declare a statewide high alert. The Army, Indian Air Force and NDRF teams have been called in for rescue and operations. About 2,200 people have been shifted to safer places and over 460 others rescued. Chief Minister Vijay Rupani reviewed the situation with the top officials. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee said there was no flood-like situation in the state, which was being lashed by heavy rains, although some low-lying areas in few districts were inundated. Mamata Banerjee held a meeting with senior officials to monitor the situation. Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik asked the administration to evacuate people from low-lying areas of Keonjhar, Bhadrak and Jajpur districts due to incessant rains in the region. The Chief Minister also directed the administration to keep at least 60 multi-purpose shelters ready to house the people likely to be evacuated.
खेती बाड़ी के लिए बारिश बहुत ज़रूरी है, लेकिन आम आदमी को परेशानी तो होती है। देखिए बारिश में कितना लोग भीगता है और सड़कें जाम होती हैं, ट्रैफिक जाम होता है।
The overall flood situation in Assam improved considerably, with rivers Brahmaputra, Barak and their tributaries showing a receding trend. Uttar Pradesh too experienced rainfall at several places. Rainfall was also received in the national capital and Himachal Pradesh. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And let's get you an update on the situation in Darjeeling. And the CBI on Monday sought an arrest warrant against the Gorkha Janmukti Morcha President Bimal Gurung, his wife Asha and 20 others before a court in connection with the Madan Tamang murder case. Now, the CBI urged the court to issue the warrant against the 22 accused who were absent at the hearing. Now, of the 48 remaining accused, 26 were present in the court, but 22 others, including Gurung, were absent. All India Gorkha League leader Madan Tamang was killed in Darjeeling in May 2010. Meanwhile, in another development, the DGP and other senior police officers will visit Darjeeling to examine the law and order situation there. Meanwhile, Darjeeling entered its 40th day of the indefinite shutdown in the hills, with all the essential services, including delivery of food items and internet, being banned in the area. Now, except for the medicine shops, other shops, restaurants, hotels, schools and colleges remain closed. On to some other news. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval will travel to China this week to attend the annual BRICS National Security Advisors Summit. Now, Doval, who will be in Beijing on 27th and 28th of July, will be the fourth Indian government representative to engage with China since the tri-junction dispute broke out at the India-China-Bhutan border in June last month. Meanwhile, ahead of Doval's visit, the Chinese Foreign Ministry said that a meaningful dialogue on the ongoing Dokla standoff was unlikely until India fulfilled the precondition of withdrawing the troops from the area.
我们强烈要求另方立即将越界的边防人员撤回边界线的印方一侧，这是我们解决事态的前提和基础。边境地区的和平安宁事关地区的和平稳定。
And an update on the situation in Jammu and Kashmir, and the state police has arrested 20 people in connection with the mob lynching of Deputy Superintendent of Police Mohammad Ayub Pandit. Now, Pandit was part of the security grid that was deployed for devotees attending the night-long prayers before Eid at Jama Masjid, and he was lynched outside the mosque in Srinagar's Nohata area on 22nd of June. Inspector General of Police Munir Khan said that a militant involved in the Pandit's killing was shot dead in an encounter this month.
We arrested 3 main accused persons who were involved in this gruesome act, and after talking to them, after their custodial questioning, they led us to other accused persons who were involved.
Meanwhile, the NIA has also arrested 7 people, including the son-in-law of separatist leader Syed Ali Shah Gilani, in connection with its probe into the subversive activities in the Kashmir Valley. It also arrested 2 of Gilani's close aides and the spokesperson of Hurriyat Conference led by Mirwais Umair Farooq. The National Investigation Agency also named terrorist Hafiz Saeed as an accused in the funding of terror probe.
हम ये नहीं कहेंगे कि और भी कोई नाम है या नहीं है। हम इतना अवश्य कहेंगे कि जो जांच एजेंसी काम कर रही है वो देश के हित में काम कर रही है। हमें यहाँ से आतंक समाप्त करना है, अलगाववादियों को अपनी जगह दिखानी है, देश को हमें अखंड रखना है, देश की रक्षा करनी है और कश्मीर की जनता को सुरक्षा देनी है। इसलिए हमें कार्रवाई करने के लिए जो एजेंसी को काम दिया है एनआईए काम कर रही है, वो करती रहेगी, उन्हें को रोकेगा नहीं।
And we have given a clear-cut message that nobody shall be allowed to there's a sport, either sport or create such situation where separatism and terrorism is spread in Jammu and Kashmir.
What about those real leaders in Jammu and Kashmir who are creating a row against army, who are creating a mutiny against the governance of India? What about them?
Big story coming in from Pakistan, where at least 26 people were killed and 57 others were injured in a suicide bike bomb attack in Lahore area. The suspected suicide bomber targeted police personnel who were deployed near the residence cum office of Pakistan's Punjab Province Chief Minister Shahbaz Sharif in Lahore. Several police officers are among the dead. The Chief Minister, who is also the brother of Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, was in his meeting at his model town office when a blast took place. Windows were blown out in nearby buildings by the force of the blast. The Pakistani Taliban said it was behind the explosion. Rescue teams shifted the injured to the hospital. Emergency was declared in the city hospitals. Now, the condition of several of the injured is slated to be critical. Now, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif strongly condemned the blast and directed officials to provide best possible medical treatment for the injured.
अनफॉर्चुनेट इंसिडेंट हुआ है जी यहाँ पे फिरोजपुर रोड के ऊपर पुलिस और सिविलियंस को टारगेट किया गया है। हमारी इनिशियल फाइंडिंग ये है कि सुसाइड बॉम्बर था जिसने एक मोटरसाइकिल को यूज किया।
News from the United States. And Donald Trump's son-in-law and his senior advisor Jared Kushner has denied colluding with Russia during the 2016 election, saying that he had no improper contacts with the Russian officials. Giving evidence to a Senate panel investigating, Kushner said that all of his actions were proper and occurred in the normal course of events at the campaign. Giving a detailed explanation, Kushner in an 11-page statement said that he had the records and the documents to prove that he did not collude with Russia, and that he has submitted the documents to the committee showing that he had perhaps 4 contacts with the Russian representatives, none of which were impactful in any way to the election. Kushner's appearance has been highly anticipated because until Monday, he had not personally responded to questions about an incomplete security clearance form and his conversations with foreigners.
The record and documents I have voluntarily provided will show that all of my actions were proper and occurred in the normal course of events of a very unique campaign. Let me be very clear. I did not collude with Russia, nor do I know of anyone else in the campaign who did so. I had no improper contacts. I have not relied on Russian funds for my businesses. And I have been fully transparent in providing all requested information.
Well, that's it from me and my team in this edition of News. Thanks for watching. Have a great day ahead.